Okay, hello everyone and welcome back. So here I am just showing you what I'm using for today. And in the next clip you'll see me pulling out my Valentino Beauty Pure nail forms, and you see me rolling back the form just a little bit to kind of make it into like a TP shape. And you want to make sure you line up the edge of the nail form, and you see where I messed up just a little bit, but I went ahead and fixed it. And you want to make sure they're lined up. And then what you'll see me do next is place the form underneath my finger, and it's my pinky in this case, and make sure that it's straight and that I don't have any gaps between the nail and the form. And then once I feel pretty satisfied with the placement, you'll see me pull to the end to secure it, and then I also will make sure that it's stuck properly to the rest of my nail. And then you'll see me go in with the Super Bond primer from Valentino. And if you want to see how I prep my nail, be sure to check out the last video because I did a full prep process. And I am just prepping my brush here just to get it wet with the monomer. And then you see me going in with the second coat about a few seconds, like maybe like a minute or two after it dried the first time. And here I'm really just killing time to wait for it to dry. But okay. And then now once I know about how long I want the nail to be, I always go ahead and pinch the form so that way it cuts it off, and then I mix it so I can kind of get that really nice C-curve shape. And it's important to do this because that will it also will control how wide the nail is. So I placed down my first bead at the free edge. And once again, this is Lustrous Pink from Valentino. And I kind of just go along with the guides of the form. So you'll notice whenever you look at a form, there's grid lines, and then there's lines that determine the shape. So I am doing like more of an almond leto shape. I don't know why I said shape. So that way it's like not too round, but also not like a really pronounced stiletto. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm using the guidelines on the form to help me determine the width of the nail, like how narrow the nail should be in accordance to my natural nail and how wide my own natural nail is. Which is honestly the great thing about forms, is because you can kind of get the perfect shape every time so long as you know what you're doing. And if I were doing a client, I would definitely have their nail angled down the entire time, but it's just a little bit harder for me to do that on myself. For example, you will see that I get out of frame every now and again, but I still wanted to come in and explain to you all what I was doing. So normally I do about, whenever I'm forming a nail, I normally do anywhere from 3 to 4 beads. It all just depends. Also on the length and all of that, but yeah. And see, this is one of the areas where you can see I'm out of frame. Okay, and also another tip is whenever you're going in and you're applying your acrylic, be sure to make sure you keep the shape tapered at all times, especially when you're doing something that is tapered like stiletto or a coffin shape. And also, if you do want a more in-depth tutorial about how to apply a form, I already have a video dedicated to that, so I will link it up in the cards because I do have a sculpted nail series, and this will be a part of that playlist. And yeah, as you all can see, I just placed another bead near the cuticle area, and you can see kind of already have a really nice apex and everything. I just see a little bit of an area where some acrylic is missing, so I just go ahead and add that, and then that really should take care of the acrylic application. Also, a complete side note, but how pretty is this color? It's literally one of my favorite cover powders from Valentino. Also, in case you guys were wondering about my thoughts on these forms, they work really well. You guys know I was using the Nail Supply Glamour forms, but they have not been in stock at all recently. So I have been using the Valentina ones, and the adhesion is awesome. They do stay together, actually maybe just a little bit better than the Nail Supply Glamour ones. I really didn't have to keep pinching and re-adhering the form to my nail. Okay everyone, and basically this is what we're looking like right after the acrylic application. I'm going to show you a side view. So as you can see, it's not too thick and there is definitely an apex there. And here I am using a 100/100 file, a buffer, and I'm also using this Après Buffer. It's more like a smoothie file because it's really good for smoothing out the nail and giving it a nice shine. I really love using these after nail sets, but specifically with sculpted nail sets. And I am holding my nail kind of weird because it is hard to file nails on myself, and I am out of frame a little bit. But if you do want to see how I shape the nail in depth, or like a tutorial, I do have dedicated shaping videos on my channel, so I'll try to leave up one that I feel like is really good up in the cards above. But I do have a playlist that is just for beginners, so I give a lot of tips and tricks there. But I do like to hand file more than I like to e-file with sculpted nail sets, because I like to use the hand file to really make sure I have a really nice C curve, and I like to file under the nail. And I find that I don't know, I like hand filing more than I like e-filing to smooth out any bumps or lumps, and then I just like to go in with the e-file to clean up the cuticle area. Also, on a side note, I have got a couple questions about the giveaway. So essentially, I'm waiting till we actually hit 500 subscribers, and then I'm going to announce that the giveaway has ended in a video, and I'm going to give you guys a date to submit any final submissions if you hadn't already by that point in time, and then I'll close the giveaway, and then I will choose a winner by basically like putting the names in a bowl, or maybe I'll do like one of the random picker apps, and I'll go live when I do it, so that way you guys can see that it was completely random and there was no special selections or anything done or anything like that done. And just make sure that you follow all the rules and that you've done everything that I explained that you should do, and you should be good to go. Okay, and then here I'm using a Kiara Sky bit. It's a fine carbide bit, and it's a small barrel. I prefer small barrels over large barrels because you can get a tighter seal. In large barrels, they're not really good for people with smaller nail beds, but the small barrels work just fine for just about anyone. And as I was saying before, I only angle the e-file down, or the nail bit down, when I'm at the cuticle area. But please also note that I'm not like digging into the nail. It's really more so just like angling it so I can get in there really nice and tight, because you can't be flat and then still seal the cuticle area. And because we already did a lot of the filing with the hand file, it's not a whole lot I have to do with the e-file over the rest of the nail. I'm really just smoothing it out a little bit from any scratches that the hand file may have left. And the e-file can leave, or the e-file bit can leave scratches as well. But when you typically have like a carbide bit that's fine, it doesn't leave a lot of scratches on the nail. You only get more scratches whenever you're using a coarser bit. Also, if you would like for me to see more of an in-depth process of e-filing and me really going more in depth into what you should know, be sure to check out the video that's up in the cards right now about e-filing, like 101. This also shows how to shape and everything like that as well after acrylic application. Also, you guys will notice that I am pointing the nail up towards myself, and I'm looking at the tip of the nail looking back, because what that allows me to see is my C curve, Also allows me to see where the nail is uneven at, and if I need to file a little bit more on one side than the other. And it's really just a good idea to look at your nail from all sides if you really want to get a smooth and even and a non-bumpy nail. Also, I don't think I mentioned it, but normally I don't go over a speed of 8,000 kRPMs to 10 or 12 k,000 RPMs whenever I'm filing after acrylic application. It really all depends. If I'm just having to go around the cuticle area, I'll leave it at a speed of 8,000 or 8. So yeah, but if it's a lot I have to do with the e-file, then I probably will go up to 12, but nothing more than that if I'm finishing after acrylic application. Okay, and here I am using my buffer from Après, so I am using the 100 grit side first, and then I'll switch over to the 180 side to smooth it out. So remember that 100 is going to be the coarser side and 180 is the finer side, and that goes for hand files as well as like sanding bands and buffers. So the lower the number, the coarser, and the higher the number, the finer. Okay, you guys, and that's the finished product. So essentially, once I finish this, I'm all ready for gel polish application or whatever design I'm doing, and the nail feels really nice and smooth right after this. Like, it's done, and it looks really good and seamless. The cuticle area is super nice, and there's a pretty good apex there. So I hope you guys find this video informative, and I'll see you in the next one.